Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about some scouting. We're back on Proc, one of my favorite maps, and I'm running, this is EU, I'm on my EU account, so these are not as full up of tanks, and I'm still grinding through. However, this AMX 1375, a Tier 7 French auto-loading light tank, is fully decked out in terms of modules, so it has all the top modules, and the crew is probably a two-skill crew. All right, we're going to talk about scouting, and I wanted to show you this because this is going to end up being about over 7,000 spotting with not a great crew and not really the best tank of all time, known for its spotting capabilities. More of a combat light, but it can do the job. Good news here is we don't have a whole bunch of scouts. There's a 1357 and a Hotchkiss. At least it's not one of the Tier 8s, which means that as we look at this, there are Tier 8s in the battle, but there's no CVS on a scout. So Tier 8 scouts have a huge leg up on Tier 7 scouts, and it can be very dangerous if one of those is around, but we don't have that situation here. We're bottom tier, there's only 2 tiers. Only 1 artillery. You know, when you're on Proc, you almost actually want some artillery as a scout because you can drop some more shots and damage into weird places. So I'm going to come over here onto the east side, and we're going to talk both about passive and active scouting and the fact that they're not mutually exclusive. Now, I do carry binocs on this thing. I think I have optics and low noise exhaust, which is going to help with my camo a bit. That is kind of a tweener. Okay, so it is an auto-loading light tank. Most of it is optics and camo stuff that I've got on here. So a little bit of a tweener. I'm not carrying a camo net, so it's not pure passive scouting. This thing is okay in terms of mobility, so it's really kind of an overall, but I really like this little spot here. This bush is big enough for the small light tanks. There are some that are a little bit too big to get in there. A Hawk 30 is hard to get into that spot without being seen, part of your tank sticking out. Just as an example, say a Sheridan, some of the other really big light tanks can have trouble. So initially I'm going to go here because this is what I'm looking for, getting damage off of the guys that are trying to push up and over. And if I can maul the dudes on the hill a little bit here and get a few more spotting shots out of people, like this Tiger P unwisely comes up in the edge of these trees. And really the only reason he's getting spotted is because I'm so far forward in this bush and I'm using binoculars. Normally you can go up on the east side of the tracks right there, no problemo, and not get spotted, but he gets caught out. Now I get a little bit irritated here because this, and I don't know why, but the other scout, the EBR, decides to come in here. And what he actually does is he drags the other light tank in close enough to me to get me spotted, which is highly irritating. I don't know why he wasn't overworking on the 1-2 line. There was no reason for both of us. See this 1357, and I'm kind of watching this happen going, if that 1357 gets too close, I'm going to get spotted and I'm going to have to bail out. And I should have left by now because I figured I'd get lit, and more likely I'm lit now, and boom, oh crap. Good news for me is that there were a lot of people spotted and being shot right then. Otherwise I'd probably disintegrate just based on that silly EBR bringing that guy in. So we're going to change what we're doing. We do a passive move. I like going over there and working the hill like that. Knock down the hill guys just a little bit, make it a little more dangerous for them to push. But I'm already seeing that the 1-2 line, of course that's the trade-off here, right? I went up on the hill to kind of get some, no, actually I'm going to kill off this 1357 first because he's down on the pit. Gives me an opportunity to get rid of him. So I gave up the opportunity to get to the 1-2 line early, there he goes, to go up to the hill. If that doesn't pan out, or you win the hill quickly, or there's nothing going on up there, then you have to get on your horse and start doing something else. All right, so when you go, all right, I'm a passive scout or I'm an active scout, you're both. You are what your team needs at the time. So I kind of gave up on the 1-2 line by going over there. I got some good spotting at 2700, but now we're going to come over. Thank goodness the 1-2 line didn't collapse. We're actually in a decent lead. We've killed the 1357, and the EBR is unseen right now. He actually becomes a bit of a thorn in my side here in a minute. Barask is trying to go in and get some spotting, but I type in there, tell him, hey, I'm coming over to the 1-2 line, and now we're going to start doing a little more active passive stuff. So we're going to move and try to creep forward and get some lights. The bummer is there's a few guys in here with some pretty good spotting. So we come in here, we're going to scooch up this way, and now we're going to try to work down this line. But this takes a little bit of doing, and I may have come outside of the bushes there a little bit. There we go. So we got the T10. He's now lit. Get some spotting out of that guy. Going to hang out right here. I'm just going to be careful. So this is just going to be a kind of a little bit forward, a little bit back. Keep guys lit. Make sure he dies. There he goes. All right, good. So I'll just kind of move in here and creep forward. Got the Skoda right on our side. I sort of come outside of the bushes a couple times right there. And I don't want to be so close that he can creep up and get a proxy light. So now I'm trying to back out of this thing. He's taking a bunch of hits. He sort of YOLOs in and ends up dying, which works out for me. There we go. That's good. Now we can creep forward some more. And I get lit in here pretty quickly. So there's somebody fairly nearby, and that's a bummer. I'm going to back out. All right, so what happened is I was very foolishly going down. Oops. I was very foolishly going down the middle of the road. See where the curve is? And he's actually in this bush looking right down the road. So I should have been in these bushes. If I'd have snuck through these bushes, I probably would have lit those guys up and not taken any damage. So it's absolutely on me. Now I'm going to kind of tuck up underneath these guys. Trying to get shots on them here. Spin around. We find the IS. And now I get hit by the Hotchkiss. And that's a bummer because I can't see him. He's back there. What I should have done there is pushed in on the Hotchkiss. Get him lit and maybe he dies before he kills me. What I try to do is maybe disappear. But he's got a line on me and he's taking some good shots. And I'm still spotted. I'm like, oh, please. No, I get dead. There's a little bit more spotting in there, up to 7,200. We end up winning this battle. There's only 4 of those guys left. So a bit of a mistake at the end right there. But you can see then over to the east side doing some passive stuff. Get on the horse. Little counter scout because I have an opportunity to get rid of him. He's down in that hole. Excellent. Let's get rid of that guy. Swing over to the 1-2 line where they needed scouting help. Sort of sneak forward on that, spotting guys. Eating them up as we go. You can see the whole crowd is now pushing into what's left over there. So you get a game of both passive and active. Basically, the bottom line of all that is you're not just a passive or an active scout. You are whatever your team needs. You can set your tank up to prioritize one or the other or be good at one or the other, and that's where you get into field mods, and you can actually have 2 setups, which is nice depending on the map and the situation. You can switch that. But overall, whatever it is you take, you are what your team needs. I think that applies to every tank class. Yes, it probably already is the hardest to be a heavy or whatever, but you understand what I'm saying there. Is you do whatever the team needs to have done. And the good news here is I had a tank that was able to do both. So there you go. Little EU action with the 1375. I think that's my highest spotting game on the EU server so far. I think I also got a mission done on that. A little bit of a mistake at the end dealing with the Hotchkiss. I should have just pushed in on the guy. Hopefully got him lit. I might have even been able to take a few shots. The other option was as soon as I got lit was to, instead of keep pushing on those guys, is to bail out and try to come around and come back through the bushes. But I was starting to press at that point. Might have even got a few more hit points, but I think I actually get some more. There we go. I'm pretty sure that went to me. All right, cool. That's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think down below. We will see you.